Hi again, scholars, and welcome to Math with Mr. Ray. So we've been determining the volume of rectangular prisms, right? Now, if you've ever seen an apartment, sometimes they are all the same, the layers from the base go straight up, right? Like this figure right here, like it doesn't change. Sometimes there are multiple sections, right? Right? Sometimes buildings have like two different rectangular prisms attached to each other, like this. And in order to determine the volume, you can't just look at this as two layers because this is there, right? So we have to individually figure out the volume of one part, and then you have to find the volume of the other, and then add them together. Today, we will be exploring that. Super excited. Let's get busy. All right, so of course, we want to always neatly write our name, right? And so just what I was saying, this rectangular prism is interesting because you have a rectangular prism here, but you also have like a little rectangular prism there, right? In total, you see 4 layers. However, the fourth layer is not completely filled. So whenever whenever you see problems like that, you just want to list things that you notice, right? So I notice two different rectangular prisms attached to one another, right? And so we want to look at it. So we want to look at prism one and prism two. All right, we'll call this one prism one, and we'll call this one prism two. So for prism one, you have your length at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So length equals 6. Width is 1, 2. And height is 1, 2, 3. Right? And 6 times 2, which also is the base, times the height is 12 times 3, which is 36. So let's look at it again. The length, 6 times 2, well, the base. The length and width together make the base. 6 times 2 means the base is 12 cubic units, right? Now, sorry, it's 12 square units because it's not cubic until you have all three dimensions. So it's 12 units times 3, which is 36, which means this part of the building is 36 cubic units. Now this part has a length of 3, a width of 2, and a height of 1. And 3 times 2, which is the base, is 6, times 1 is 6 cubic units. Now we have 36 cubic units, and you have to add because this and this come together, plus 6 cubic units equals 42 cubic units. Okay, now let's look at the next one. Which expression can be used to find the volume of the figure below? Select all. What does select all mean? Write it here. What does select all mean? I know you can answer that. We talked about it all last week, right? Do you see how this is plus, 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 plus? It's basically saying you have this layer plus this layer. Once again, we see two different rectangular prisms. So you want to label it 1 and 2. In prism 1, you have a length of 1, 2, 3, 4 times a width of 2 times a height of 1. Now we're using process of elimination, which means that we can already cancel out some answers, right? I see 4, 2, and 1 there, so I can use that. I see 4, 4, and 1, so I cannot use that because that means that the width would have been 4. So I can't use that. 4, 2, 1, I can use that. 4, 3, and 1. Can't not use that because the width is not 3. So I can go ahead and cross this one out, and I can cross this one out. So now we're looking at these two, right? So we know the length is 1, 2, 3, 4. The width is 1, 2, 3, and the height is 1, 2, 3. A lot of you would think that this height will go to 4, but it does not go to 4. The height is 3 because we're breaking it up one prism at a time. Okay, so we solved this one. Now we're solving this one. So this is a 4 by 3 by 3, which means there are 2 3s and 1 4. This one says 3 by 3 by 3. Cannot use that one. See, this one is a 3 by 4 by 3. Definitely can use that one. Now, Mr. Ray is not perfect. Mistakes happen. I know that C is correct. However, I know that select all means there is more than one answer. So I need to go back and see. Let's look at this one. 4. If this was a 4 by 4, so 4, no, that cannot work. 4 by 4 by 4, that cannot work. This can work. 4 by 3. Okay, maybe this could work. Let's look at this one. This is saying a 4 by 3 by 1. Do you see that? That's just this section right here. For that to be right, it would need to be a 4 by 4 by 2. Oh, this is also correct. Now, do you see what I just did? Right? We know this is incorrect, but this is correct because you can also look at it in different ways. Just like you can look at this figure as like one base and one part above it, you can also look at it as if it's one figure in front of it and then the top is in the back. And that's what B did. So the good thing about select all, it lets you know that if you use process elimination, you say, and you only got to one answer, you know to go back and double check it. So the correct answer is B and C. Go ahead and rewind it. But I could just say right now, first, they looked at the figure from this rectangular figure right here, all of this, right? And that was your 4 by 2 by 3, which is how we got here. Oh, sorry, 4 by 3 by 3, 4 by 3 by 3, right? And then it was the 4 by 2 by 1. That's how we got C. However, in B, 4 by 3 by 1, that was saying this front layer right here, just this front layer. It does not go back any two, the width does not go back. And then they looked at this entire figure like that. That's interesting. Thank God we knew that it was a select all situation. Let's look at this one. A cube-shaped container has a depth of 7 inches. What is the volume of the container? Here's what I know about a cube. I know that a cube is like a square, like an ice cube. And a square has multiple faces. But the thing about a cube is the length, the width, and the height are all the same units. Because just like a square, every side is the same. So if this cube is saying the depth is 7, and it's a cube, I know the width is 7, and I know the height is 7, but 7 inches. And we know that volume is length times width times height. And so I know that the length is 7 times the width is 7 times the height, which is 7. 7 times 7 is 49. And 49 times 7, 7 times 9. Here's an easy way for me to know. I know that 7 times 10 is 70. And if I'm multiplying 7 times 9, that's just 3 less. And 3 less is 63. So carry the 6, bring down the 3. 7 times 4. 7, 14, 21, 28 plus 6, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. 3, 4, 3 cubic inches. That was a good one. The reason why I knew is because a cube is like a square, which means every side is the same. So don't forget that. All right, let's turn this bad boy over. Here we have another one. Interesting. It says Kara made a figure that was 16 cubic units smaller than the figure A below. What was the volume of Kara's figure? Kara made a figure that was 16 cubic units smaller than figure A below. So we have to ask ourselves, do we know the volume of Kara's figure? No. But what we do know is it's 16 cubic units smaller. So first, we need to find the volume of figure A. And then subtract. Subtract what? I want you to figure that out. After you solve that, set a timer for 1 minute and see how much you can get done. That's all. Have a good night.